It was a wild and crazy weekend of racing. So much action, so many upsets, and the season is just starting. Quick Time starts now. The following video is brought to you by the Flack Companies. Hello everyone, I'm Mike Warren and welcome to another episode of Quick Time. Let's waste no time and jump into the highlights from Accord last Friday night. Canaan Auto Supply and Tom Saban bring you the highlights from the Ulster County Bull Ring as we start with the modifieds. Green flag out, lap 1, and trouble already for Jammin' Jimmy Wells as he makes contact down the back straightaway and ends up on the dirt pile, and yeah, that's a tire. Iron Mike Ricky in the 76 makes it to the number 2 spot, would set its sights on Brian Crummell for the race lead as behind the leaders tight racing would continue with the chairman of the board, Rich Ricky Jr. making his way through the field after starting 22nd. Caution would then come out on the speedway for Tommy Gunn, Tommy Johnson in the 45, which would give Ricky one last shot at the 17. But it was to no avail as Brian Crummell powers through for an impressive opening night win. Mike Ricky would settle for second, Richard Smith would come home third, Van Duzer would come home in the number 4 spot, and Rich Ricky Jr. would round out the top 5. Down to the hard clay for some hard hits to get it started first in the heat race. Billy Van Imwagen in the 4 gets in a little high in turn 1 and hits the infamous tire barrier hard. And then in the sportsman division, Billy Flood looks like he would pick up an easy win when he tangled up with some lap traffic and ends up flipping his 91 machine in turn 3. All drivers were okay as Johnny Ferriser would emerge victorious. In the modifieds, Jimmy Horton will make his home track Orange County in 2017, led the field to the green with Mike Kolk on the 25 out front. Horton would grab the lead and run away behind Bob McGannon and Tommy Meyer as they did battle as pretty much clean and green race until Tim Heinley and a host of others come together in between 1 and 2. That only slowed down the veteran of Horton briefly as he'd take the opening night win over Kolka. Jeff Hetzler Sr. would finish in spot number 3, Tommy Meyer 4th, and Jerry Higbee would round out the top 5. To the great race place, Albany Saratoga Speedway now, as we start off with some sportsman action. An incredible finish here between Cody Blue and New Hampshire driver Adam Pearson. Blue would push high, giving the win to Pearson, and Connor Cleveland would sneak by for the number 2 spot. We move on to the Pro Stocks now as battles would rage on all over the speedway as here Nick Stone goes for the lead, but contact going to send him around. Another restart, more problems in turn 3 as the front end gets torn off of a car. What a race this was. Meanwhile, up front, crazy Kenny Martin survives and picks up the win and does a little celebration after the fact. To the modifieds now, Demetrius Drelis in the 111 going to lead the field to the green into turn number 1, and before you could look twice, here comes the Canadian sensation, Stuart Friesen, as he dives to the inside of Drelis to take the lead away. The Jersey Jet looking to make a charge to the front as he passes Elmo Reckner, and now will work on the 3 of Mark Johnson down the back stretch a lap later. He would eventually be able to catch the 44 to try to make his move as the front runners would continue to switch racing lanes, but not position as Stuart Friesen holds on for the opening night win. Friesen would pick up the win. The defending champion Mark Johnson would finish in second, Matt DiLorenzo 3rd, Keith Flack 4th, and Peter Britton would round out the top 5. Hearn would have trouble and finish in the 20th position. How about some 4-cylinder action at the Valley of Speed? Riding on board with Bradley Batho as he gets tangled up in turn number 2 and ends up hard in the inside wall. We bring you up to some small block action now, brought to you by Crane's Outdoor Power Equipment. Here is Kenny Tremont in the 115 and the 74 of J.R. Hefner do battle for the number 2 spot. Tremont will get the spot and would try to run down race leader Demetrius Drelis in the 111, as these two do have a little bit of history in the past, and I don't think either of them forgot about it as well. Caution would fly for the 25 of Frank Harper and would give Tremont one last shot at the 111, but Drelis going to earn it the hard way as he holds off Tremont for the small block win. Here's the Pro Stocks trying to complete lap number 1, and look out, Eddie Bishop and Hugh Page come together, causing a big wreck on the front stretch. Both Steve and Paul LaRochelle, Jay Corbin, Rob Yetman, among others, were caught up in this one. When they got things cleaned up and back to green, Rob Yetman going to set his sights on the front as he passes Rich Crane in turn number 4, then split the middle a couple laps later as Rick Dempsey skates high and Rob Yetman going to take advantage. His next victim would be Ricky Duzlak in the 29 and then the 51 of Jason Meltz. As caution will come out for several cars together in turn 4, giving the advantage to Yetman as he motors by the 17 of Nick Hill. The big cat, Rob Yetman, in the 7, going to start off the year perfect as he goes back-to-back at the Valley. To the main event now as the Mighty Modifieds hit the high banks for their 30-lap modified feature event with Steve Huff and Kyle Armstrong leading the way. Last week's winner, the Wild Child Andy McKetty, going to find the boilerplate in turn number 3 on lap number 9, and needless to say, he was not pleased with the 11A of Kyle Armstrong. Near the halfway point, the Sand Lake slingshot of Kenny Tremont gets underneath Elmo Reckner and would eventually catch him past J.R. Hefner for the number 2 spot as the caution will come out for the 87 of Paul Gilardi, which would give Tremont one shot at Steve Huff. They'd race side by side, but just as we saw earlier in the small block race, it just wasn't Tremont's night, as he was not able to get the lead and Steve Huff would pick up the win. Tremont would have to settle for second, J.R. Hefner third, Elmo Reckner fourth, and Robbie Pitcher coming home in fifth. To the Fondant Speedway now. Rocky Warner and the Sportsman going to go back-to-back. Earlier in the night, Pro Stocks had their feature winner with Kenny Gates going back-to-back as well on the 35 machine. Modifieds now, Jeff Rockefeller and Jeremy Wilder starting up front after their heat race wins. Rockefeller led lap 1, but by lap 2, the young gun from Fort Plain going to take the advantage and grab the race lead on the inside. Caution will come out, making up for an exciting restart down the back straightaway as the 3D of Matty D. Matt DiLorenzo makes some moves vintage style on the outside lane. And a couple laps later, he passes last week's winner, Justin Bullard. He just run out of time and only get up to third as Wilder would take the race win. Wilder would pick up the win. Johnson would finish in second. DiLorenzo third. Jeff Rockefeller fourth. Justin Bullard going to finish in the top 5.
Scott, looks like some brand new colors and a new team for you for 2017. Tell us about it.
Yeah, at the end of last year, decided that we were going to try to make some changes with Lazaro Motorsports and stuff, and I actually talked about some things and decided that we were going to do some different things at the end of the season, but it all kind of didn't pan out because the car was pretty beat up that I was in and stuff, but that's when this opportunity came along. Rich Dodson had called me and asked me if I'd be interested in running the car, and I definitely didn't want to say no to this opportunity, so we're here. We got new equipment, we got some good stuff, and I think we're going to be competitive this year.
Where will we see you run in 2017?
Myself and Brian Pesolano are going to run Albany Saratoga on a regular on Friday nights. And then we're planning on doing Fondant for the first few weeks and King of Dirt Series. And then you could catch us anywhere on a Saturday. Rich wants to do some racing. We might hit Fulton, might hit a couple different tracks on a Sunday if we can, Devil's Bowl, I-88, or a Friday night if we're not running Malta.
What does it mean for you as a driver when you get a call from an owner that says, hey, we think you're good enough to come run our equipment?
It's like overwhelming at times. You don't realize it. I mean, I know we're on a local level. We're not NASCAR, but certain teams, people know who has good teams and who doesn't. And when Rich called me, it was kind of a funny thing because last year at the car show, I was walking by the 14 going, God, I'd like to drive that car. And Rich has always been a class act. They've always had good equipment. And it's a cool thing. It's an honor to be able to drive for him and his fiancée, Donna.
What would you consider a successful 2017?
We won a track championship. I've ran Malta many seasons. Got a track championship at Devil's Bowl in the Pro Stocks, and we're going to be happy if we can do that. We want to be consistent as a team, and either one of us parks in victory lane, we're going to be really happy, and hopefully, like I said, at the end of the year, we can win a track championship and possibly a King of Dirt championship.
A special thanks goes out to our sponsors at the Flat Companies, Canaan Auto Supply, La Rochelle Auto Body and Restoration, Cranes Outdoor Power Equipment, Tom Saban, and Bobco Media. I'm Mike Warren. We'll see you next time at the races.